fury of ecstasy is also wisdom. It is the very epitome of wisdom. It's the expression of wisdom in the flesh. It literally clears the system out. It rids it of every form, of every definition, of every structure which seeks to retain and retard energy, to keep it held in its track. It literally cleans, it bursts, it purges everything in the system. It keeps everything crystal clear, and it allows you to dance, to sing, to scream, to shout, to holler, to howl at the moon, and it demands the use of the body. It demands dance, it demands song, it demands sing. I can't even say what it is. It may be shrieking, it may be just but it demands a total and utter use of the vocal cords. It demands it demands a whole body purgation. It demands a total and unadulterated usage of the voice. It demands a complete and unadulterated usage of the body, of the hands, of the fingers, of the feet, of the toes, of the hips, of the waist, of everything, of the neck, of the face, of the eyes, of the mouth, everything. It demands the total and complete usage of everything in every way, so that the whole body, the whole mind, the whole energy system, the whole spirit comes to life. It brings everything to life. It is the animating force behind everything, and it must be known completely in the body. And this will bring up all fear of all superstition. It will bring up all shame, whatever is hiding in the body, whatever indoctrination, whatever codification, whatever, what's that word that I'm looking for? Contrivance, conditioning, whatever programming is in the body as definition given to you by family, by community, by religion, by church, by tradition, by anything, whatever condition is there, from friends, from school, from the mosque, from anything, from the temple, from the synagogue, from society, whatever conditioning is there, ancestrally, all of it. The ecstasy of fury, the fury of ecstasy, which is wisdom, purgates, it purges, it cleanses and clears the entire system and brings you right back into truth. And you have to let it have its way with you. You have to surrender to it completely, like a woman in heat. And I mean that. You have to be in total heat for God. You have to be in complete heat for this ecstasy. You have to be totally willing to take it completely into every cell in your body and through every orifice. You have to be completely wild and free, like a pagan dancing in the night in the woods. You have to be like Pan. You have to be like Aphrodite. You have to be like Freya. You have to be like Frey. And then in that you discover the transgendered, the beyond gendered being of God. You discover that which is eternal and true. You have to surrender completely to that divine feminine to discover what that is, which is the expressive power of the source of creation. And when you come through that, you discover that which is the source, and you discover that source to be pure and whole and true and to be inseparable from its expression. You discover the masculine and the feminine to be one, complete, and whole. You see, the masculine and the feminine are one. They're whole. They're not separate. They are complete, they are one and indivisible in every single way. And wherever you see in nature an example of where you would be tempted to divide and say this is feminine and this is masculine, you could see in fact how both are simultaneously both. At the same time. You can never divorce the one from the other. There is always the two as one, constantly appearing to come together and move apart, come together and move apart. But that is the order of appearance of physics. In reality, there is no division, there is no separation ever, only the appearance thereof. And even when there appears to be a split, there actually isn't a split, because the two are always contained, the one in the other. The dance, the split, is only an appearance. There can never be a separation between the god and the goddess, between the masculine and the feminine, so much so that you don't even need to call them that. That's only a contrivance of the mind. That's a symbolic dualistic metaphor, because language must be spoken in a dualistic way, apparently between two poles. But in the reality of it, there's absolutely no division. And this great heat of ecstasy, this great fire, this great flame must be known. You must know it completely, so that if you would know It's going to sound strange, but to know man, you must know woman completely. To know the masculine, you must know the feminine completely. And anyone who would call themselves masculine or a man who doesn't know the feminine completely, who's never surrendered completely to the feminine and let it embody them and imbued themselves in every cell of their body with it completely, you neither know the feminine nor the masculine. Which means you certainly don't know God. You don't know truth. You don't know ecstasy. It's a living embodiment. It's a living reality, and it contains everything and excludes nothing. So if you're hung up on your gender at all, you can never know God. You can never know truth. You can never know ecstasy. You certainly have no right calling yourself a shaman or conscious or enlightened or anything like that. You have to be in heat, wild, crazy. You have to be completely ecstatic. And that means willing to surrender to the source of creation. Just like, as the metaphor went, a woman who's finally making love to the man she wants the most, or to the woman, or whatever. You can switch the gender around, it doesn't matter. But I'm saying that because there is an absolute quality of what you call the feminine in being totally in heat and wanting to be utterly ravaged by God, by ecstasy. You want to be ravaged by it in every single way. And you trust it completely. You have no idea what it's going to do to you, but you know that it's only going to take you to where you must go, to where you need to go, to where you want to go. It's complete faith. It's complete trust. And it's something that you see that you cannot give to anyone except for one who is in pure consciousness. You cannot give it to anything except for the pure divine. You see, the pure divine, the pure God, the pure source of creation, that is your true lover. That is your beloved. That is the beloved. And that beloved is pure ecstasy, pure love, pure truth, pure frenzy, pure wildness. And there is not a shred of violence or hatred or disdain or contempt or anything in it. It is pure love, pure security, pure ecstasy, pure wildness. It is totally wild and totally secure. It is so complete, there's no division in it whatsoever. And to the ego mind, it appears to be a paradox, which wants to divide everything. Yin from yang, masculine from feminine. But when you divide the masculine from the feminine, they're both distorted. Completely. And so the masculine that appears to be separate from the feminine is not masculine. There is no possibility of separating the two. The two are whole, inextricably, eternally one. And that is the nature of every atom, of every speck of dust, of every planet, of every human being, of every animal, of every plant, of every bird, of every mountain, of every valley, of every ocean, of every river, of the sky itself, of the earth itself. Everything is one. You cannot divide anything from anything else. And to embody, to imbibe, to be imbued with the totality of everything all at once, that is ecstasy. That is knowing God. It clears and cleanses the entire system of all contrivance, of all conditioning. And in it you see the exact structure of this whole world. You see why and wherefore everything is set up the way it is, to block and prevent this realization, to block and prevent this power, so that a cheaper power, the power of friction and the power of violence and the power of self-hatred, can be used to fuel the death and the war machine that has been established as what we call civilization in every single way. And when you return to this raw, true, eternal, and authentic power, which is unrivaled, unmatched, and only reveals itself to one who is completely pure. Pure means completely in heat and on fire for it and it alone. And when you come into this, you're given everything. It doesn't matter what you lose in the process. It doesn't matter if everyone turns away from you. Who cares? It happens in a flash. It happens in an instant. It happens in the blink of an eye. You can't calculate it. You can't time it. You can't predict it. You can't plan it. It simply happens. And when it happens, it happens. It's done. It's finished completely forever and ever and ever and ever until the end of time and beyond. In fact, it reveals that there is no time. There is only this eternal being, which is completely beyond everything. It includes everything. And if you're even hung up a little bit on gender performance or role in any way, shape, or form, you cannot come in. It doesn't work. You have to be exactly what you are naturally. And what that is completely and totally submissive and subservient to the source of creation. In every single way, you are the bride of God. You are that. And that is beyond gender. But you have to completely know what it is to be the wild feminine in heat. completely submissive to the source of creation. And then it imbues you, it becomes you, and when it does that, you see you always were that. And the two are never separate. You were never separate from God. The masculine was never separate from the feminine. The formlessness was never separate from form. They were always one, always complete, always whole. Always. All separation is a lie. All division is a lie. All of it. And you can be free and clear and pure right here in the truth of who and what you really are. And that means no more shame, no more guilt, no more suffering. None whatsoever. And you can stand up boldly and loudly proclaim the truth. The truth of who and what you really are, which is that, which is this ecstasy, which is this being. The truth that there is only a great, wild God. It is pure love. Pure love. Without division, without separation, without boundary, without border, without category. That is what you are, and you must know it. It's your birthright to know it, and it's your responsibility to know it. It's a great privilege to know it, and your birthright, and your responsibility again. It is, and you must claim it. You must seize it. You must seize it with everything that you are. Anything less than this is not human. This is the beginning of being human. This awareness of the eternal truth of the ecstasy of your being. This is being human, nothing else. This is love, nothing else. Everything else is a contraction, is a contrivance of the mind, which is unreal, violent, stupid, criminal, cosmically criminal. This and this alone is sanity. This and this alone is freedom. No need to conform to anything. Ever. This is all wisdom. This is all truth. This is the light that guides the way. You cannot change reality. You can't change the fabric of your own being. It is what it is irrevocably. The soul, which is one with God, it is the self-same thing as God, is what it is. It is both masculine and feminine simultaneously, neither masculine nor feminine simultaneously, and altogether beyond being either both and or neither, masculine and or feminine, all at once, simultaneously. Both, neither, and beyond being either, both, or neither. All at once. Personal, impersonal, and transpersonal. All at once. You cannot say anything about it. You cannot categorize it. You cannot put it in a box. You cannot make an image of it. You cannot. Not a conceptual image or a physical image. You cannot make an image of it. Everything points to it. Everything points to it. And no image can encapsulate it or contain it. It is beyond all image, beyond all concept. It is beyond all notion, beyond all memory, beyond all time, beyond all experience. Beyond the past, beyond the present, beyond the future. It's beyond everything. In the true present, there's no concept of the present. The true present is not a split second. The true present has no beginning and no end. It is eternity itself. And in eternity, there is neither past nor present nor future. There is just this. You can call it now, but people use that word to demarcate time. There's no demarcation of time here, now. There is only this, eternal being, which is ever free, boundless, unchained, unfettered, unmarked, clear, clean, pristine, lucid. There's no substitute for this in the whole world, in the 9 worlds, in any dimension, in the 12 worlds. There is nothing like this in any of the infinite number of worlds that exist or may exist or could ever exist. This contains all of them. It is the source of everything. When you know this, you are free. Your very life is the prayer. Your very life is the ceremony. The very fabric of your being is the light of the love of God, is the ecstasy of the love of God. There's nothing you have to do to get it, to attain it. Nothing you have to conform to. Nothing to coerce anybody else into. Everybody and everything is already free in this. You simply only need to realize it. That's the only trouble with this world, is it must be realized. But to realize it, you have to give up all that which you hold most dear, your silly categories, your silly definitions of yourself, and all of your attempts to conform to some contrived image of who you're supposed to be or who you should be or who you shouldn't be, which is all contrived. That's the darkness. Come out of it, Lazarus, come out. Walk out and be free. Come, join the party. Join the party of the king's beggars, you see. Join the party of the king's rebels and rascals and renegades. Join the party. Come out here where the air is clear. Open your wings and fly. Soar. Join the party. You gain nothing from staying in your hovel in hell. Nothing, butterfly. You gain nothing. Nothing by staying in chains. Nothing. And you gain nothing by keeping others in their chains. And when you stay in your chains, you help keep others in theirs. And you can be free. Whatever anybody else is doing or saying or thinking or believing or feeling, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. Or even what you're thinking or feeling or believing. You can be free. And you must be free. You must be completely free. Otherwise, you cannot be in true relationship. Goodbye, butterfly. There are so many white butterflies flying around here. I saw a yellow one the other day. Everything leading up to freedom is totally preliminary. Provisional. Stepping stones. Once you touch this, you see that relationship and everything must be true, and if it's not true, it's not true. It must be true right now. Everything must be true right now. If it's not true, it's not true. And when you tell the truth, and you stay in truth, and you live in truth, and you sit in truth, quietly, silently, or with speaking, whatever is untrue will either melt, vanish, disappear, go away, one way or another, because it either must surrender or it must flee. And ultimately it must surrender. Even if it runs away, it must still surrender. So surrender is inevitable. Surrender to ecstasy, surrender to God is inevitable. It's inevitable. It's inevitable for every being. Inevitable. So you can do it now or later, but the longer you postpone it, the longer you drag out the suffering unnecessarily, because you have to take the suffering 100% all at once. You can't incrementalize it. You can't suffer 10% today and then process it next week and then suffer 5% more and then process it the month after. You have to take 100% of it all at once right now. You have to feel everything all at once. And that's more than suffering, it's everything. When you feel everything all at once, it dissolves into an ecstasy. Everything all at once is ecstasy. Leading up to it, it hurts. But if you simply let it go and you let it be all at once, immediately the suffering stops, it comes to an end. And there is nothing but ecstasy, nothing but peace, nothing but joy, love, truth, God itself, manifest right here as the truth of who and what you really are. And then there's no confusion, there's no crossed wires, there's no more dimension splicing. There's just pure openness of being, and you can see clearly the physics of form and the physics of formlessness. And you don't cross the two. You understand that physics of form is physics of form, and the physics of formlessness is the physics of formlessness, and the physics of form can be interrupted at the will of the formless. But as soon as the interruption ceases, it returns back to its normal, predictable clockwork function. And form and formlessness are one. Form arises out of formlessness, is sustained by it, and returns to it. And the continuity in the appearance of formlessness moving through space and time as memory is an illusion. But insofar as the illusion appears, it obeys the laws of physics. And you can't change the laws of physics. They can be temporarily suspended by the will of God, by the will of Source, not by you as an ego. And the very existence of time, space, mind, physics is itself a miracle. It's more miraculous that physics exists than that physics should be suspended. Be in ecstasy. Know the ecstasy of your own being. Give yourself to yourself completely. Surrender to yourself completely. Seize the mystery of your own being completely. Seize yourself, take yourself, give yourself to yourself completely. Let yourself ravish yourself. Let yourself be ravished by ecstasy. Let yourself be ravished by love. Let yourself be ravished by peace. Let yourself be ravished by God. Let yourself be ravished by total, radical self-acceptance in every single way. There's no other way to God. There's no other way to truth. This is an absolute requirement. Do it. Know it. Take it. The invitation is extended to you. If you are here, the invitation is extended to you. Take it. 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 It's an invitation to come dance. Come dance. Come dance.